This is Mrs. Reister with lesson 3.5. We are dividing rational numbers. So here we've got A divided by B, where our answer to a division problem is called a quotient. So let's first take a look at the parts of the problem in a division problem. A is the dividend. So that value has a name and it is called the dividend, where B is the divisor. So when we're dividing decimals by hand, meaning we're not going to use a calculator, we are going to look at the divisor, and if there's a decimal, we are going to move the decimal to the right until the divisor is an integer. So it has to be a whole number. You must move the same number of times for the dividend as well. So if you move the decimal point in the divisor, you must move it the same number of times in the dividend to sum that up. So let's look at example 1A. We've got 8.4 divided by 3. So because our divisor does not have a decimal point, we do not need to worry about moving the decimal point in the dividend. We are just going to move the decimal point straight up, and then we are going to divide. So 3 goes into 8 2 times, and 3 goes into 24 8 times. So my answer here is 2.8. Now in B, I have a decimal in both the divisor and the dividend, so I am going to have to move the decimal point. So I'm going to move the decimal point one place over so that I have an integer now. So now it becomes 12. So I can rewrite this here, where I've moved the decimal point, and I'm going to do the same thing to 14.4. I'm going to move the decimal point over, and now I'm going to move it straight up. And now I can just divide like normal. 12 goes into 14 one time. 12 goes into 24 twice. My answer here is 12. And now I need to look back at my original answer, and as I can see, or my original problem, excuse me, as I can see, I've got a negative divided by a positive. So therefore, my quotient here is a negative 12. And then we have part C, where we've got negative 0.88 divided by negative 0.4. So again, I do have a decimal in my divisor, so I am going to need to move the decimal point in my dividend as well. So if I move it over here, I'm also going to move it here. And then I can divide like normal. 4 goes into 8 2 times. Goes into 8 2 times. I'm going to move my decimal point straight up here. And then I'm going to look at my original problem and see that I've got a negative divided by a negative, which results in a positive. And then lastly, I have no decimal in my divisor. So I'm just going to move my decimal point straight up. And then 6 does not go into 4. But 6 does, however, go into 48. It goes in 8 times evenly. So my final answer here is 0.08. And now I'm going to look at my original problem, and I can see here that I've got a positive divided by a negative, therefore resulting in a negative. So my final answer here is negative 0.08.